Hello guys! So I have just downloaded SketchUp 2019. I know I'm a bit late on this, but 17 has been working well for me so far. We're going to take a first look at opening up the program, choosing your template and getting started. So what you'll first see when you open up the program and you've logged in is this selection of templates. You have more to select from, but to be honest, you don't really need it. By default, you have a simple model in inches selected. Now, if you're trying to work semi-professionally with this, you really want to work in architectural models. Even if it's just a hobby, it's good to get used to. If you're like me, based in Europe, you also want to work in millimeters instead of inches. Most architectural firms in the US will also take millimeters for blueprints and the like. So you can go ahead and favorite your basic template that we would typically use. So architectural design in millimeters, and you click on the icon to get started. So here we are. This is your basic setup for SketchUp. Now I should mention that I am on a Mac doing this, so it will look quite a bit different from a PC. If you're used to working with this on a PC, and you have a PC, I would actually recommend it. You can work with it on a Mac as well, but the program typically runs better on a PC. So what you'll find here is your basic tools up here. This would be the equivalent to your getting started panels on a PC. Now, it works slightly different. If you're on a PC, you would have your toolbars down here on the side, and you would have them all expanded, whereas on a Mac, you get drop-down menus to increase your tools. So if you drop down on your arches, you can find a regular arc, a 2-point arc, 3-point arc, and a pie. If you drop down your rectangles, you have rectangles, rotated rectangles, circles, and polygons. But the first thing we're going to do is have a look at your various tools. So up here, if you right click or double click on the toolbars, you will find a customized toolbar here at the bottom. And this shows you everything that you could possibly need. Now, your basic toolbar setup is good to get started with. The only thing that I would add is probably your standard views, because it helps you move around in the space. So you can simply select this tool and drag it in to your select toolbar here. Or if that doesn't work, you can also drag them up to the top. Otherwise, we'll just have to find the end here. That's all fine. So you drag them into the toolbar down here, or drag the default sets into the toolbar. So that is all that we are going to add. You have a lot more options as you work more with the program, but this is all that you need to get started. So I'm going to click done and exit back into our toolbar. Now let me just show you what this tool that we just added does. This is called the views tool, and you see little icons of houses. Now if you hover above them, you will get the description of what they are. The first one here is an ISO, your ISO view. That is the default setting when you open up the program. So if we look at this gentleman here and we click on ISO, you'll only get slight change, but you still have the same viewpoint. If you click at the second icon, which is your top view, it looks like he disappears. He doesn't actually. You're just looking at the gentleman from above. So this shows you the drawing from the top. This shows you from the front, from the right, from the left, and from the back. Now the reason he keeps looking the same is because he's 2D and attached to the origin point, so he keeps switching around as you do. Now he's not very useful, so we're going to delete him in a minute, but he's good to keep there as you learn to move around the space. Now I want you to have a look at the following tools. These tools here allow you to move around in the space. So your orbit tool will do exactly what it sounds like. It will allow you to orbit around certain objects. So you see how the gentleman keeps staying, but your axes here keep rotating. You have the pan tool that looks like a hand, And this allows you just to move yourselves back and forth without rotation. Then you have your zoom tool, which you can zoom in. If you just scroll on the board, you can scroll in or out on the trackpad or with your scrolling pin if you're using a mouse, and that will scroll you in and out. Now, for zooming in and out, you don't actually need to be in the zoom tool. If you're on the select tool and you still scroll in and out on the track part of the mouse, it will also zoom in or out. I find it useful to learn the shortcuts for these as well. Now, your orbit tool, if you press O, you will get the orbit tool. For the pan tool, if you press H like hand, you will get the pan tool. So O for orbit, H for hand. Now that you've learned how to move about in the space, you are ready to get drawing.